Exodus 15:22 through 16:36. Devotional Focus Verse. If thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, and wilt do that which is right in his sight, and wilt give ear to his commandments, and keep all his statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon thee, which I have brought upon the Egyptians. For I am the Lord that healeth thee. Exodus 15:26. We had just settled into the snug little lakeside cottage that was to be ours for a whole blissful week. Disregarding the admonition of our parents, my brother, sister, and I headed for the huge pile of driftwood on the beach. Why shouldn't we climb on the logs? What could be the harm in that? While Mom and Dad were resting, we would just climb a little around the edges. I will never forget the fear that stabbed my heart when I heard my sister scream. One look at the blood pouring from a huge gash on her leg sent me running across the sand, faster than I had ever run before, calling for my parents. I was sure my sister was going to bleed to death before they could get to her. She didn't. My parents came to the rescue, and after a few stitches and the application of a major bandage at the local hospital, my sister was back at the lakeside cottage. But that day, I learned two important lessons. Listen to what your parents say and do what they tell you to do. In today's focus verse, God gave the children of Israel instructions that revolved around the same two thoughts: hearken and do that which is right. If these two simple requirements were followed, they were promised freedom from the diseases that had come upon the Egyptians. Obedience to God will bring His blessing. Many of the laws God gave the children of Israel were designed to keep them free from sickness and harm. They may not have fully understood why God instituted some of His requirements, just as my siblings and I did not understand, at our young age, why it was not wise for us to climb on the logs unsupervised. Satan would have us grow careless about obeying God, and think there is no reason we shouldn't do things our way instead of God's way. But God always has good reasons for His commands, and we place ourselves in grave spiritual danger when we consciously or carelessly disobey them. Let's make careful obedience to God the pattern of our lives. Background information. Although the children of Israel murmured and complained, God sweetened the water of Marah for them and provided manna as their food. After arriving on the east side of the Red Sea, the Hebrews encountered the wilderness of Shur. Because the group included women, children, and livestock, their progress could not have been rapid. They may have traveled from 30 to 45 miles in the 3 days in the wilderness. When they came to Marah, which means bitter, they found no good drinking water, so they complained. After making the water sweet or drinkable, God gave His people a statute and an ordinance, an instruction to obey and a promise of blessing if they would. Their next encampment was at Elim, which had wells and palm trees. Elim is generally thought to have been located in present-day Wadi Garandel, an oasis about 60 miles southeast of Suez, Egypt. God continued to lead the people south along the Sinai Peninsula. A month after leaving Egypt, they complained of hunger, and God provided quail and manna. The term manna likely arose from the Hebrew word man-hu, which means, "What is it?" the question the children of Israel asked when they discovered the food God miraculously provided for them. The children of Israel were nourished by this divine supply for 40 years. According to Joshua 5:12, the provision of manna did not cease until they entered the land of Canaan. The manna had a number of unique characteristics that proved its miraculous nature. It did not appear until God had Moses tell the people that bread would be provided to the full on the coming day. It came 6 days a week in a large enough quantity to sustain about 3 million people. Any manna kept overnight developed worms and stank, except for the 2-day supply which was gathered on the day before the Sabbath. Manna melted in the sun, so obtaining the day's food required early diligence on the people's part. It could be baked or boiled, seethed. God established a portion size and commanded an omer to be gathered for each person. An omer is thought to have been equivalent to about 3 to 6 pints. God's simple instructions regarding the manna were a test in order to prove them, whether they will walk in my law or no. Many failed the test and left God asking the question, "How long refuse ye to keep my commandments and my laws?" Observance of the Sabbath as a day of rest would have been impossible for the children of Israel while they were slaves. God used the manna to help teach His people that He wanted them to observe the Sabbath in a special way. They were to set aside 1 day a week for rest and worship. Conclusion. If we want God to take care of us, we must listen to Him and obey His directions. In short, we must hearken and do that which is right.
So Moses brought Israel from the Red Sea, and they went out into the wilderness of Shur, and they went 3 days in the wilderness, and found no water. And when they came to Marah, they could not drink of the waters of Marah, for they were bitter, therefore the name of it was called Marah. And the people murmured against Moses, saying, "What shall we drink?" And he cried unto the Lord, and the Lord showed him a tree, which when he had cast into the waters were made sweet. There he made for them a statute and an ordinance, and there he proved them. And said, If thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, and wilt do that which is right in His sight, and wilt give ear to His commandments, and keep all His statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon thee, which I have brought upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord that healeth thee. And they came to Elim, where were 12 wells of water, and 70 palm trees, and they encamped there by the waters. Exodus chapter 16. And they took their journey from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came unto the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the 2nd month after their departing out of the land of Egypt. And the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. And the children of Israel said unto them, Would to God we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots, and when we did eat bread to the full, for ye have brought us forth into this wilderness, to kill this whole assembly with hunger. Then said the Lord unto Moses, Behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain rate every day, that I may prove them, whether they will walk in my law, or no. And it shall come to pass, that on the 6th day they shall prepare that which they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily. And Moses and Aaron said unto all the children of Israel, At even, then ye shall know that the Lord hath brought you out from the land of Egypt. And in the morning, then ye shall see the glory of the Lord, for that He heareth your murmurings against the Lord, and what are we, that ye murmur against us? And Moses said, This shall be, when the Lord shall give you in the evening flesh to eat, and in the morning bread to the full, for that the Lord heareth your murmurings which ye murmur against Him, and what are we? Your murmurings are not against us, but against the Lord. And Moses spake unto Aaron, Say unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, Come near before the Lord, for He hath heard your murmurings. And it came to pass, as Aaron spake unto the whole congregation of the children of Israel, that they looked toward the wilderness, And, behold, the glory of the Lord appeared in the cloud. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel. Speak unto them, saying, At even ye shall eat flesh, and in the morning ye shall be filled with bread, and ye shall know that I am the Lord your God. And it came to pass, that at even the quails came up, and covered the camp, and in the morning the dew lay round about the host. And when the dew that lay was gone up, behold, upon the face of the wilderness there lay a small round thing, as small as the hoarfrost on the ground. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said one to another, It is manna, for they wist not what it was. And Moses said unto them, This is the bread which the Lord hath given you to eat. This is the thing which the Lord hath commanded, gather of it every man according to his eating, an omer for every man, according to the number of your persons, take ye every man for them which are in his tents. And the children of Israel did so, and gathered, some more, some less. And when they did meet it with an omer, he that gathered much had nothing over, and he that gathered little had no lack, they gathered every man according to his eating. And Moses said, Let no man leave of it till the morning. Notwithstanding they hearkened not unto Moses, but some of them left of it until the morning, and it bred worms, and stank, and Moses was wroth with them. And they gathered it every morning, every man according to his eating, and when the sun waxed hot, it melted. And it came to pass, that on the 6th day they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for one man, and all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses. And he said unto them, This is that which the Lord hath said, Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Lord, bake that which ye will bake today, and seethe that ye will seethe, and that which remaineth over lay up for you to be kept until the morning. And they laid it up till the morning, as Moses bade, and it did not stink, neither was there any worm therein. And Moses said, Eat that today, for today is a Sabbath unto the Lord, today ye shall not find it in the field. 6 days ye shall gather it, but on the 7th day, which is the Sabbath, in it there shall be none. And it came to pass, that there went out some of the people on the 7th day for to gather, and they found none. And the Lord said unto Moses, How long refuse ye to keep my commandments and my laws? See, for that the Lord hath given you the Sabbath, therefore he giveth you on the 6th day the bread of 2 days, abide ye every man in his place, let no man go out of his place on the 7th day. So the people rested on the 7th day. And the house of Israel called the name thereof manna, and it was like coriander seed, white, and the taste of it was like wafers made with honey. And Moses said, This is the thing which the Lord commandeth, fill an omer of it to be kept for your generations, that they may see the bread wherewith I have fed you in the wilderness, when I brought you forth from the land of Egypt. And Moses said unto Aaron, Take a pot, and put an omer full of manna therein, and lay it up before the Lord, to be kept for your generations. As the Lord commanded Moses, so Aaron laid it up before the testimony, to be kept. And the children of Israel did eat manna 40 years, until they came to a land inhabited, they did eat manna, until they came unto the borders of the land of Canaan. Now an omer is the 10th part of an ephah.